Okay, here's my delicious 2-day spicy seafood japchae. Korean seafood japchae. It takes a lot of effort, but anything worth doing is worth doing right. I hope you'll make this recipe. It's wonderful, it's special, it's most delicious japchae, spicy seafood japchae you'll ever have. All right, it's hard to hold this and film. Good morning, good morning. All right, look at all this seafood. Today I'm gonna be making seafood japchae, Korean seafood japchae. I've got some bay scallops that I have rinsed and just have them draining because I want to get everything as kind of air dried and ready as possible for when I start stir frying everything. I have these beautiful spot prawns. Hello. I've got some octopus. They're fully cooked. I bought them frozen and fully cooked. I've rinsed them as well. And I'm going to cut them shortly. Just trying to let everything kind of dry. I'm gonna put them in the refrigerator for that process. And then here's a beauty. This is semi-dried squid. This is a wonderful, beautiful product. All right, this is super pliable. It's just everything I love. Sometimes squid can be so wet. Look at that. I'm gonna take a couple of these out and I'm going to rinse them. They are salted. And I'm going to set everything aside for now for at least a couple of hours while I start prepping the other ingredients for the japchae. I just wanted to introduce you to the protein of the day. Does that mean me? Yeah. All right, go back to sleep. All right, so that's it. I just wanted to show you everything I've got going on here. It's about 7:30 in the morning. And like I said, got to get all this done so that I can deshell the shrimp, cut up the octopus, cut and just lightly rinse off some of the water of the squid. I don't want to now rehydrate it completely. I do want it to maintain some of its chew, and then process everything that we have to do for the japchae. This is going to be a really fun dish. And just like that, I've prepped all of the seafood. I cut up the octopus. This is the semi-dry squid. I cooked the octopus. I cut the octopus like in strips. Some of them I cut vertically. For interest, of course, I kept the shells. I'm going to create a nice little sauce with this for our japchae. And I kept one of these beautiful spot prawns. And look, this one has the roe for garnish. So that's it. I'm gonna put all this in the fridge for now. I'm going to put this on to cook. I'm going to just lightly saute it, and then I'm going to add water, and I'm going to boil for about 25 to 35 minutes. Okay, I've started my shrimp stock. Nice pink color. Doesn't read as well on camera, unfortunately, but it's very pinky and pretty. So I'm gonna let that come up to a boil, and then I am going to reduce to a simmer. I'm gonna skim the top like I do with all stocks. And I'm gonna let it just sit and reduce. Cook, and then I'm going to strain it, and then I'm gonna reduce the stock some. I'm not gonna reduce it with the shells in there, but it looks great. That spot prawn creates a beautiful shrimp stock. All right, on to the rest of my prep. Okay, the The shrimp has come up to a boil. I'm just gonna remove the shrimp shells, I should say. Come to a boil. And I'm just gonna skim around. And I've reduced it, like I said, to a simmer now. I need to get some like anti-fog. This is so annoying. All right, I'm just gonna keep doing that. Look at how nice and pink it is. And I'm just gonna keep cooking it. Cooking and cooking. So maybe about 15 minutes before the stock was due to get strained, I added a little bit, 1 clove of garlic sliced in half and a few slices of fresh ginger. And this is what I got out of it. Now I was gonna reduce this, but I realized that I'm just going to cook my vermicelli noodles in here. So I'm not gonna reduce it anymore, and this is gonna go into the trash. So that's where we are. I'm gonna add an additional 2 cups of hot spring water in here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it to a boil, and I'm gonna blanch my semi-dried octopus in here, semi-dried squid in here, and my octopus. I'm gonna do them separately so that, because the octopus is fully cooked, I just want to give it a last flavor infusion and get it going. And I'm gonna put the squid in there to cook it. I'm going to strain it again and hold it. Then I'm gonna add my scallops in here to cook. And lastly, I'm gonna poach my shrimp very quickly, or I might just saute the shrimp with the sweet potato noodle. So it's just a fluid process. The bottom line is I'm building flavors, and then I'm gonna eventually cook the vermicelli in here. So that's gonna be delish. And I'm using an organic vermicelli noodle, sweet potato starch. This is a wonderful product. It's individually bundled. It's not as long as they normally can come. But sometimes you get the package that's really huge. This one is a little bit more manageable. In goes my semi-dried squid. This is not going to take very long at all. Okay. I think that's good. Just about a minute or so. I'm going to turn off the heat. And I'm just going to transfer it. I have a plate waiting here, and I'm just going to transfer this. All right. Just picture me taking it all out. I don't want to keep getting the camera steamy. In goes the octopus. The heat is off. That's it. Putting it with the squid. Keep taking it out. Now I'm going to get the scallops out of the refrigerator and put them in. Okay, last but not least, the scallop. And I may have to do this off camera because it's cold and it refuses to get off of here. But I'm putting them in. Okay, I poured them in as quickly as it took to wash my hands. They're done. Just adding them to the same plate. Definitely don't want to toughen these. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my bigger spider. I don't want to just keep them in here. It's kind of hard to pull them out. Let's see if I can really quickly. It's hard to see them. This is getting more and more concentrated. I don't want them to overcook. But you get the point. Take them all out as soon as possible. They're probably in here 2 minutes, if that. Okay, it's hard to see through the phone camera, so I'm gonna turn it off. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to marinate the seafood. So I've got my little cast iron skillet. I used my garlic press to press out about 8 small peeled garlics and about 1 inch of ginger. This is the ginger, and I'm just gonna put it, not this in some sesame oil. This is not hot. I don't wanna burn it. I do wanna take the rawness out of the garlic and ginger before I add it to my just the seafood that I just lightly, I guess we can call it poached. All right, so that's it. I need my other hand to get all this ginger fiber off. I'm gonna take it to the stove, cook it, and then if you saw my video on mock demi, I'm going to add the mock demi to this mixture once it's become, I can smell it, it becomes fragrant. And then I'm gonna add that to the seafood mixture. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you're gonna need that, or you can just add soy sauce and sugar, or just soy sauce. I mean, you do you know, for japchae, you do need the sugar. It's important, but if you don't wanna add it, then don't. So now my garlic and ginger are cooking. I can smell that they're starting to get fragrant. I don't want them to toast. And now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of sweetener of your choice or not. I'm using white cane sugar. And then I'm going to be adding 1 cup of mock demi. I made that yesterday. You want to see how I did that? It's called mock demi. Demi-glace. It's very seasoned. It has a little soy in it. I'll turn this off now. Add the mock demi, and then I'm going to pour this over my seafood. This is what's going to give the japchae that nice, wonderful, silken mouthfeel. I'm gonna let this cook a little bit. Turn the stove back on. I turned it off so it wouldn't steam up the camera. I'm going to let this reduce just a little bit, maybe 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I'll tell you exactly when I'm done. To my simmering sauce for the seafood, I added 1 tablespoon of plum wine. I don't know, Crystal Lake plum wine. It's kind of sweet. It's yummy. So this is another optional ingredient. It's just kind of gives it that more sophisticated flavor, and I think it's just going to pair wonderful with this recipe. So it says Crystal Lake plum is a refreshing alternate to the ordinary grape wine. The wine finishes with a hint of naturally sweet plum flavor. It's a perfect wine for all Asian cuisine, and you can drink it as an aperitif. So that's it. Another optional, just an upgrade to an already delicious recipe. Of course, you could use like a French vermouth if you wanted to, or nothing. So my reduction, I just turned it off. It's been about 10 minutes. You can see like the sides here, how much it's gone down. So it reduced by, I don't know, a little less than a quarter, I guess. So I'm gonna let it cool down before I add it to my seafood. I'm gonna not add the whole quantity. This is a cup. And I'm gonna reserve the rest for when I make the japchae noodle. So I'm gonna put about, I would say, I don't know, maybe a little less than half of a cup, but we'll see, whatever looks good. I wanna get that pre-marinated, and first I have to cool this liquid down. Okay, so I added approximately a third of a cup of the glaze reduction. And additionally, I added Korean red pepper powder, 1/2 teaspoon, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm not gonna adjust for salt right now because I don't want to toughen my seafood or draw out any moisture. So I'm just mixing. If you didn't want to add the red pepper powder, I added the coarse one just to give it a little like contrast. This is gonna be a spicier version. You don't have to, and if you can't find it, you can add like 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, just to adjust the seasoning to your taste and liking. So that's it. You can see that. I'm gonna stir it occasionally, but for right now, I'm gonna put it back in the refrigerator. And I'm gonna start prepping all my veg. There's more to come. This is how you do a 2-day spicy seafood japchae. So I've split my prawns long ways, and the de-shelled one, and for the shelled one with this beautiful roe, I'm starting to reheat my shrimp stock to cook my vermicelli noodles, my sweet potato vermicelli noodles. So I have marinated these in some garlic and ginger, a little salt on this guy, and I'm gonna steam it on top of my double boiler here. So this is underneath it is that seafood stock we've been working on. Like I said, I'm bringing it back to the boil for the vermicelli, but in the meantime, once it gets hot, I'm gonna put a top on it, and then I'm gonna steam that, the whole prawn. I put a little bit of sesame oil so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna put this guy in there. It's gonna be yummy. Thank you to this brand. I wish I read Korean. This is, look at this beautiful organic sweet potato starch vermicelli. It's short. You know, normally they're like triple this size, and it becomes awkward to cook. They come individually, like bundled. I love this. I'm gonna use 2 bundles for my recipe today. It comes with 4 bundles. Oh, that sounds good. It's like an old broom. All right, just kidding. It does look fun though, like wheat stacks or something. Okay, let's look at Miss America. Woo! You pretty. Perfect. Okay. Now, what do I do? What do I do? I got a little plate for her. Ah, good, look at it. I'm gonna put it right into the fridge so that the roe doesn't overcook. That is so nice. But right before I do that, let me just pour a little bit of sesame oil on it. And that's it. She's going in the fridge. It is so beautiful. Spotted prawn. I love those legs. Very elegant. Get your leg in there. Okay, back in the fridge. I'm gonna add a little bit of this Korean crab flavored stock to my shrimp to give it even more of a seafood flavor. In she goes. I'm gonna put the whole packet. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to stir it, and then I'm gonna turn it off and then let my vermicelli noodles kind of cook and soak in there. I don't wanna overcook it. We prefer our noodles a little bit more on the firm, chewy, al dente side. Okay, and they went. I'm gonna stir them. I don't have a lot of time. I don't want my phone to get all steamy again. Okay, with my spaghetti tool, pasta spoon, or whatever you call pasta fork or whatever, I'm just making sure they don't stick. As soon as it comes back to a boil, I'm gonna turn it off. A watched pot never boils. I'll tell you, if you get into the habit of cooking your pastas in a flavorful broth like this, it's going to elevate anything you cook. Okay, I want to keep it going until it comes to a boil, but you see it's coming to one rapidly. This is such an important part of the process. I hate to turn the camera off. Uh-oh, we're getting steamy. Oh well, I'm gonna have to turn my camera off. So it was about six or 7 minutes that I cooked the vermicelli noodles. The little pieces you see on top are just a little bit of that seafood broth that was left over. I'm just gonna toss this slightly. I did not throw away 1 drop of my stock. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna add some gelatin to it, and I'm going to reduce that, and that will certainly be a wonderful flavor enhancer for any kind of seafood dishes I might cook either this week or whenever I need it. So look at that. That's just a little bit of liquid. All right. I'm going to transfer this into, I'm going to take that last little bit of liquid, and then I'm going to put it back in this bowl, and then I'll show you what the next process is. Okay, remember the rest of the demi. We're gonna add that now. It has all that garlic, ginger, sesame oil, and I'm going to incorporate so that this can start absorbing all of those flavors. It's already so flavor intense from having been cooked in that broth. If anybody has any suggestions of how to keep my phone camera from getting so steamy, can you let me know? So annoying. Gosh, boy, I wish you could smell this. And because I cooked it nice and al dente, as it carryover cooks, it still has like enough body in it to absorb this without it getting mushy and all thick. It has enough oil as well with the sesame oil. keep it from sticking. And look at that. Isn't that just pretty? So iridescent and translucent and full of flavor. So silken. That's how it should look. Get a good organic vermicelli noodle when you can. Okay, so I think the last thing I'm gonna do just really quickly is add a little bit more Korean red pepper powder. An optional ingredient. But I wanna start infusing this with just a little bit more spice. If you wanted to triple that amount, you could. If you wanted to omit it, of course, because it's an optional ingredient, you can. But it just adds such a wonderful aroma. You won't be sorry. Then I'm just gonna let this sit at room temperature, covered. Once it cools, I don't want it to steam. I am trying to kind of get some of the starchiness out and let it cool. All right, really hot still. I keep saying this, but now it's really time to get on to the vegetable prep. So I have to get out a big bowl and start soaking my vegetables to get them clean, dried, and cut. To my stock, I added the remainder of the stock that I have been making, or the veggie stock, I guess, the shrimp veggie stock. I added 1 1/3 envelopes of gelatin. I'm gonna let it boil, and then I'm gonna use it when I need it. I've transferred the seafood that's been marinating, about most of the quantity, reserving about 1/4 of it, in with the vermicelli. Since it's warm, I want them to start marrying. Will you marry me? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna start marrying these flavors. And I'm gonna reserve the rest of it for garnish. That's it. I gotta get that stock off the heat now. So this is a Korean cucumber. It's a lovely variety. It has these beautiful, it's very light lime type color with these beautiful variegated bright yellow, almost chartreuse color. I got my handy dandy peeler and sliced around the cucumber, and then I kind of shredded it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can if you want to stack them perfectly, but this is the next ingredient that's going in because I want just a little bit of the warmth of the last remaining warmth of my vermicelli to kind of wilt them a little and get that going in there. Now, if you're thinking, well, you know, it's cucumber, it should be cold and fresh, try it, believe me. Cooked cucumber, not that this is cooked, it's just gonna be slightly, let's say, wilted into the recipe, is here to provide that fresh, lovely sweetness. It's just gonna melt and it's gonna give this seafood jjajangmyeon a very sophisticated, light, and refreshing taste. It really goes great with the seafood, and it's gonna make a really, really, really special flavor. I recommend you try it, even if it's just in a small quantity. But this is one of the secret ingredients to make this just stand out. And of course, we know, that in different cultures, you put cucumber in a ceviche type dish because cucumber and seafood go very well, very complementary. So that's it. I'm gonna put this back now. I have my plastic here. I prepped my cucumber. And again, I'm using a Korean variety of cucumber. Very, very crisp, light flavored, and crunchy. So that's gonna be wonderful in here. For anybody who's been following this video so far and wanted to know what happened with the stock, so I reduced it. It came down to, let's see, just about 1 cup of broth, and I put it in this, I strained it with a small strainer into this measuring cup, just to tell you what the quantity was, but I'm going to ultimately transfer this before it sets up too much. And this will be just like a demi. It has a very nice, salty, rich fish flavor. This is going to be a really fun, magical ingredient to use. So I have some fresh, my vegetable prep. I have some fresh wood ear, and you could buy it dry. It lasts forever. This is a small pack, so I just preferred to buy it fresh. I used half of a, I don't know, 8 or 5 ounce pack of fresh wood ear mushrooms. And then I'm just slicing them thin. I'm gonna saute them. That's how it looks. So I'm just gonna slice them really thin. You get the point. Here is said noodle, looking pretty. All right, I'm gonna add the gastrique, and then I'm going to do the final fresh veg prep, and that's just gonna be a little green onion that I'm going to slice thinly for garnish. I'm only gonna add to the current mixture a little bit of the egg, the carrot, and the soybean, because I don't want to stain the noodle with any of the red and purple cabbage. And then when it comes time to assemble, I'll mix it all. I don't know what time it is, but I don't think I'm gonna be serving this at least for the next 2 or 3 hours, so everything will have a good amount of time to marinate. Okay, I added the tablespoon of gastrique, and it's gonna really brighten this. You want this to have enough vinegar. You want it to be like a sweet and savory, you know, an underpinning of sweet, mostly savory, but that gastrique is really gonna give you a wonderful taste. And like I said, it's just equal parts sugar and vinegar reduced by about half until it has like that sugary, you know, what is it, like kind of sticky, syrupy consistency. For the vegetables, I did salt. Like I said, I salted the eggs. I added a tiny little bit of salt and soy sauce to the mushrooms, because I know that they wouldn't extrude a lot of liquid. So I'm not gonna do a final season until the end. Like I said, you can always add salt, but at this point we can't take it away. And I don't want my vegetables to become really watery. As we know, when you add water or sugar to a vegetable or fruit, it starts to leach out the water. And I want to maintain the color, the texture, and the flavor of each of the individual ingredients. So I have just left to do is I'm reducing a little soy sauce and sugar as a final, let's call it a sauce of sorts if we need it. I just want to have it cooled and ready. I'm going to cut the green onions, and that's going to be it until assembly time. Once I get this sugar and soy sauce mixture kind of reduced, I'm going to add the egg, some of the egg and the carrot, which is here, some of the egg and the carrot to the mixture, to my noodles. And I guess I could do it now. I'm not gonna add it all because I wanna have some for garnish. And since this is kind of similarly colored, it's not going to interfere with my color profile here. Tiny little bit more of the egg. And then we'll mix. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, my husband is really looking forward to this. It's a wonderful special kind of a dish to make. It's a Monday where I am. But who says Mondays aren't special? They're special to me. I can smell my soy sauce reduction going. I'm gonna cover these nudes and I'm going to cover my veg. I'm gonna pop them both in the refrigerator because like I said, I'm a few hours from service and dinner. I like to call it service because I'm in the service of making dinner. And then we will get back to you. I mean, I have nothing really else to add. I'm making some beef bone broth that's been simmering for about seven hours now, and I want to check on it. I'm gonna go take a little chill break for myself, which is always fun before everybody gets home. And by everybody, I mean my husband and my son. So that's so pretty, right? I love this. Oh, the rainbow. I love you, rainbow veggies. I love each and every one of you. I love you. And am I missing anybody? What about us? Here, let me put a couple of these mushrooms in here. Just because, again, they won't interfere. I'm gonna leave a couple for garnish. All right, enough fooling around. That's it. Hold the music, everybody. My son came downstairs and said, cool Japanese spotted prawn. And that reminded me, I didn't put in the prawns. What in the heck was I thinking? So now we're gonna add it. Just sauteed them off. Like I said earlier, this has been marinating in a little bit of garlic and ginger. I just sprinkled a tiny little bit of salt right before cooking. I'm gonna add them now.